The Pleistocene spiral-horned antelope refers to extinct species of the tribe Tragelaphini, a group that includes present-day spiral-horned antelopes like greater kudu, lesser kudu, elands and bushbucks. These animals were part of the diverse megafauna that roamed Eurasia during the Pleistocene epoch, 2.58 million to approximately 11,700 years ago. While much of their history is reconstructed from fossils, their existence highlights the ecological diversity of the Pleistocene era in Europe and Asia. During the Pleistocene, the spiral-horned antelopes had a broader range that spanned across parts of Europe, Asia and northern Africa. Their habitat typically consisted of open grasslands, savannas and forests. These antelopes were adapted to the colder and more variable climates of the Pleistocene, as this epoch saw significant fluctuations in temperature, marked by periods of glaciation and interglacial warming. Their spiral horns, which were often large and impressive, likely played a role in social behaviors like territorial disputes and mating displays. Many species of Pleistocene fauna, including the spiral-horned antelopes, faced extinction or significant decline by the end of the Pleistocene, largely due to climate change, habitat destruction, and hunting pressure from early human populations. Fossil evidence suggests that some of these antelopes became extinct around the end of the Pleistocene, about 10,000 years ago, possibly due to the changing climate and the disappearance of their preferred habitats. While most of the Pleistocene spiral-horned antelopes are extinct, some descendants of these ancient species still roam parts of Africa today, such as the greater kudu, Tragelaphus strepsiceros, and the common eland, Torotragus oryx, which are known for their spiral horns. These modern species are found in Africa rather than Eurasia, as the majority of the Pleistocene spiral-horned antelopes from Eurasia have been wiped out, with some species migrating or evolving into other forms. In Pleistocene Eurasia, these antelopes may have had cultural significance to early human societies. Their large horns and impressive stature likely made them symbols of strength, and they may have been hunted for their meat, hides and horns, which were valuable to early human toolmakers. Fossils of spiral-horned antelopes have been discovered across Europe and Asia, with notable finds in the Caucasus, Anatolia and parts of the Middle East. These fossils provide insight into the adaptation strategies of these animals in response to environmental pressures. In summary, while the spiral-horned antelopes of the Pleistocene were once widespread across Eurasia, most species faced extinction due to the environmental changes of the epoch's end. Today, only related species remain in Africa, but the ancient lineage of these magnificent creatures continues to fascinate researchers studying extinct Pleistocene megafauna. Rewilding greater kudu, Tragelaphus strepsiceros, and common eland, Torotragus oryx, into Eurasia to replace the extinct Pleistocene spiral-horned antelope offers a range of ecological, cultural and economic benefits. Here's an overview. Ecological benefits: restoring ecosystem balance. Trophic role. Both kudu and eland are large herbivores, capable of fulfilling the role of the extinct spiral-horned antelope in maintaining ecosystem dynamics. Kudu, primarily browsers feeding on shrubs and trees, preventing woody vegetation from encroaching on grasslands. Eland, mixed feeders consuming both grasses and shrubs, promoting diversity in plant communities. This helps balance ecosystems by controlling vegetation growth and maintaining habitat heterogeneity, benefiting other species such as grassland birds, smaller mammals and pollinators, enhancing biodiversity. The presence of large herbivores increases biodiversity by supporting predators and scavengers through carcass availability, creating microhabitats, for example through trampling and grazing patterns that promote plant and insect diversity, dispersing seeds over large areas, aiding forest regeneration and plant diversity. Mitigating climate change, carbon sequestration. Grazing and browsing behaviors encourage the growth of young vegetation, which sequesters carbon more effectively than overgrown, mature plants. Maintaining grassland ecosystems prevents the dominance of woody vegetation, reducing fire risks and preserving carbon storage in grass-dominated systems, restoring prehistoric grazing dynamics. During the Pleistocene, large herbivores like the spiral-horned antelope played critical roles in Eurasian ecosystems. Kudus and elands can mimic their grazing and browsing behaviors, helping to restore ancient ecosystem processes. Cultural and historical benefits. Reconnecting with Pleistocene landscapes. Reintroducing kudu and eland can recreate landscapes resembling the Pleistocene era, offering a living glimpse into prehistoric Eurasia. These species evoke a sense of continuity and connection to the region's ancient ecological heritage. Education and tourism. Large, charismatic herbivores like kudu and eland attract public interest, promoting ecotourism and education. Wildlife parks and rewilding projects featuring these species could become significant attractions. These species provide opportunities to educate people about the importance of biodiversity and ecological restoration. Economic benefits, boosting ecotourism. Ecotourism centered around unique rewilding projects can generate significant revenue for local communities and conservation efforts. Greater kudu and common eland are striking and photogenic species that can attract wildlife enthusiasts. Sustainable game management. Managed populations of eland and kudu can support sustainable hunting initiatives in regions where this practice is culturally and economically significant, providing funding for conservation programs. Supporting local livelihoods. Rewilding projects create jobs in habitat restoration, wildlife monitoring and tourism. In some areas, eland and kudu have been used as sources of sustainable meat production, though this would need careful regulation in a conservation context. Adaptability to Eurasia. Habitat suitability. Greater kudu ideal for Mediterranean woodlands and scrublands such as those found in southern Spain, Italy and the Balkans. Common eland, highly adaptable to temperate grasslands, savannas and open woodlands, including Eastern Europe and the Eurasian steppe. Their feeding habits allow them to thrive in regions with diverse vegetation structures. Climate-tolerant elands are relatively cold-tolerant and have been successfully reintroduced in temperate climates, such as Eastern Europe. Kudus are less tolerant of extreme cold, but could adapt to milder climates in southern Europe or regions undergoing warming due to climate change. Challenges addressed by rewilding. Overgrowth of vegetation. In the absence of large herbivores, many Eurasian landscapes face shrub and woodland encroachment, reducing biodiversity. Kudus and elands can help restore open habitats, benefiting grazing-dependent species like wild horses and steppe birds. Trophic cascades. The reintroduction of large herbivores initiates trophic cascades, indirectly benefiting other species by maintaining habitat balance and availability of resources. Habitat degradation. By dispersing seeds and preventing overgrowth, these species promote healthier, more resilient ecosystems that can recover from disturbances such as overgrazing by domestic livestock or natural disasters. Synergies with other rewilding species. Kudus and elands could complement other rewilding efforts involving species like bison, wild horses and elephants. Together, these species could mimic the diverse herbivore guilds of the Pleistocene, maximizing ecological restoration. Rewilding greater kudu and common eland into Eurasia offers numerous ecological, cultural and economic benefits. They can restore lost ecosystem functions, enhance biodiversity and reconnect people with their natural heritage. By carefully selecting regions with suitable climates and habitats and managing populations responsibly, these species can play a vital role in the revival of Eurasian ecosystems. Rewilding greater kudu, Trachylaphus strepsiceros, and common eland, Taurotragus oryx, into Eurasia would require careful consideration of climate, habitat suitability, and ecological integration. The following regions offer potential sites for successful rewilding based on the species' adaptability, habitat needs, and conservation goals. Southern Europe, Mediterranean region. Regions: Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Balkans, e.g. Sao, Albania, Montenegro, Greece. Habitat. These areas feature Mediterranean woodlands, scrublands and grasslands, which are suitable for both kudu and eland. The mild climate and varying topography support species that require warmer temperatures with some cold tolerance. Greater kudu, can adapt to the open woodlands, savannas and shrublands found in these regions, particularly in southern Spain and Italy, where the winters are mild. Common eland thrives in temperate grasslands and savannas, so areas such as the Greek mainland or southern Spain could provide ideal habitats. Why this area? Mediterranean climate offers mild winters and dry summers which suit both species. Existing large wild herbivores such as wild boar and red deer suggest these regions can support large herbivores in a balanced ecosystem. Mediterranean regions have shown success with other rewilding projects, for example, wild horses and bison. Eastern Europe regions, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Moldova, Ukraine, Carpathian Mountains and steppe regions. Habitat, the Carpathian and Balkan Mountains offer mixed woodlands, grasslands and steppe habitats. These areas have moderate winters and large tracts of land suitable for grazing and browsing species. Greater Kudu can live in the mixed forests and woodlands of the Carpathian Mountains or the foothills of the Balkan region, where the vegetation includes shrubs and small trees. Common eland, Eastern Europe's grasslands, such as the Ukrainian steppe or parts of Romania, offer ideal conditions for eland, which prefer open landscapes with a mix of grass and shrubs. Why this area? Low human population density in some regions, like parts of Ukraine and Romania, makes these areas suitable for large-scale rewilding. Large open spaces in the steppe and forested areas can provide the grazing and browsing habitats required by elands and kudus. The Caucasus regions, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan. Habitat. The Caucasus offers a mix of mountainous and lowland areas with a variety of vegetation types, including grasslands, shrublands and temperate forests. The climate is temperate, with a range of habitats at different altitudes. Greater Kudu, the forested slopes and woodlands of the Caucasus, could support kudus, especially in lower altitude areas with enough cover and grazing space. Common eland. The more open grassland-like habitats at the lower elevations of the Caucasus are ideal for elands, which require space for grazing. Why this area? Diverse ecosystems, from lowland grasslands to high-altitude forests, the Caucasus offers habitats suitable for both elands and kudus. The region is ecologically rich and has seen successful reintroductions of species like the Persian leopard and wild boar, suggesting it can support large herbivores. The Pannonian Basin, Central Europe regions, Hungary, Austria, Slovakia, Croatia. Habitat. This region has temperate grasslands, wetlands and forests with a climate similar to the Eurasian steppe. The Pannonian Basin is known for its natural steppe-like habitats and is already a focus of rewilding efforts. Greater Kudu. The grassland areas of the basin could provide suitable habitats for kudus, especially those close to forested edges with sufficient cover. Common eland. This region is ideal for elands as the extensive grasslands can accommodate large herds and provide ample grazing opportunities. Why? This area, rich wildlife, the Pannonian Basin has seen the successful reintroduction of species like bison and Przewalski's horse, demonstrating its capacity for hosting large herbivores. Large open landscapes. The steppe-like habitats offer abundant grazing areas for elands, and the transition to woodland areas is well suited to kudus. The Volga-Ural region, Russia regions, Ural Mountains, southern Siberia, Volga River region habitat. This vast region consists of mixed forests, steppes and grasslands. The climate can be colder than other proposed regions, but the area's expansive nature offers a range of habitats. Greater Kudu. The southern parts of the Ural Mountains and Volga region could be suitable for Greater Kudu, especially if warmer areas are targeted for initial reintroduction. Common eland. Elands can adapt to the steppe and open forests found in the Volga-Ural region, benefiting from large open landscapes. Why this area? Expansive landscapes with low human population density and plenty of space for large herbivores. The region has already hosted reintroductions of species like the European bison, suggesting potential for success with elands and kudus. The Balkans regions, Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, Kosovo, North Macedonia. Habitat. The Balkans offer a combination of forested mountains and Mediterranean scrublands. The region has a mild climate, especially in the southern and lower altitude areas. Greater Kudu. The woodlands and mixed forests, especially in southern parts of the Balkans, are suitable for Greater Kudu. Common eland, grasslands and shrublands in the lowland and foothill areas can provide grazing opportunities for eland populations. Why this area? The region offers diverse habitat types that can support both browsing kudu and grazing eland species. Rewilding projects in the Balkans, for example wild horses, bison, have already proven successful, suggesting a strong foundation for reintroducing other large herbivores. The Greater Kudu and common eland, as large herbivores, would interact with other species like deer, wild boar, wild horses, wild asses, water buffalo, wild cows, bison, and saiga antelope in various ways, depending on their ecological niches, behaviors, and the specific environment in which they are rewilded. These interactions can influence the success of rewilding efforts and contribute to ecosystem balance. Here's a detailed look at how these species might interact. Deer, for example, red deer, roe deer, fallow deer, and Greater Kudu or common eland are herbivores, but they occupy different ecological niches. Kudus and elands tend to be larger and prefer more open woodland and savanna habitats with dense cover, whereas deer are more often found in forest edges and grasslands. The species may overlap in terms of grazing areas, but can avoid direct competition through habitat partitioning. For example, kudu may prefer shrubs and trees, while deer graze on grasses. Deer may graze on finer vegetation, leaving the coarser, more fibrous plants for kudu and eland. This reduces competition for resources. Kudus and elands, being larger herbivores, could help maintain grassland and open woodland ecosystems, which can benefit deer populations by maintaining habitat diversity. Wild boar are omnivores, feeding on roots, tubers, and small animals, but they also consume plant material. Kudu and eland are strictly herbivores, and although they may share some plant resources, their diets largely differ. Wild boar can help maintain a more dynamic ecosystem by rooting in the soil, which can increase plant diversity and even create opportunities for new plant growth that kudu and eland can graze. Boar rooting can enhance the habitat for other species by disturbing the soil, allowing different plants to establish and increasing biodiversity. Wild horses are grazers and may compete with kudu and eland for grasses. However, wild horses typically graze on grasses, while kudu and eland will browse more on shrubs, trees, and other woody vegetation. Horses can create open grassland areas by grazing, which can help establish clearings for kudu and eland, as these species may use grasslands for travel and foraging. Mixed grazing by horses, kudus, and elands can help diversify plant growth and prevent overgrazing of certain species. Different foraging habits create a more balanced ecosystem. Niche overlap: wild asses, for example the onager, are grazers like horses but may also browse on shrubs and trees. They are well adapted to arid or semi-arid environments, while kudu and eland prefer more temperate and open woodlands. Potential benefits: wild asses can help maintain the grassland habitats that are often beneficial for eland and kudu populations. As smaller herbivores, wild asses may complement kudu and eland in the ecosystem by grazing on different vegetation types, helping to reduce competition for food. Water buffalo are large herbivores that primarily graze on grasslands, but they also need access to water sources, which could overlap with the habitat of kudu and eland. Water buffalo are known for their ability to modify ecosystems, particularly by grazing on grasses and opening up wetland areas. This could help maintain the structure of grassland and wetland habitats for elands and kudus. They may help maintain water sources, which are important for all species. Wild cows, for example the aurochs or their reintroduced counterparts like heck cattle, are large herbivores that graze on grasslands and shrublands, often competing for similar resources as kudu and eland. Grazing dynamics. The aura of competition can actually be beneficial in preventing overgrowth of grass and certain vegetation types, which benefits all herbivores by ensuring more sustainable ecosystems. Aurochs can also provide a positive ecological impact by opening up land for grasslands and reducing scrub, which could benefit kudu and eland by providing better grazing land. Bison and kudu eland are both large herbivores, but bison are primarily grazers, while kudus and elands are mixed feeders, grazing and browsing. However, They typically prefer slightly different habitat types, with bison being more adapted to open grasslands. Bison can help maintain grasslands by grazing heavily on grasses, preventing shrubs from encroaching, which is beneficial for the kudu and eland, which may prefer the more wooded areas. The interactions between these species can create more diverse ecosystems which can benefit the entire food web, including other herbivores and predators. The Saiga antelope is a grazer that primarily lives in open, grassy plains. They would likely share grazing areas with the common eland and could compete for some food resources, especially during harsher winters. The Saiga antelope is a small, agile herbivore, and their grazing can help maintain grasslands that would also support kudu and eland. They may also act as a prey species for carnivores, helping to maintain predator populations in ecosystems shared with kudu and eland. The interactions of greater kudu and common eland with Eurasian predators, wolves, feral dogs, dholes, golden jackals, Eurasian lynx, Persian leopards, brown bears, tigers, Asiatic lions, and snow leopards, would depend on predator-prey dynamics, habitat overlap, and behavioral ecology. Below is an analysis of how these herbivores might interact with these predators in Central Asia, the Caucasus Mountains, and other regions of Eurasia. Wolves are pack hunters capable of taking down large prey, but they typically target smaller or more vulnerable individuals, for example calves, injured or old kudu eland. Adult greater kudu and common eland would be challenging prey due to their size and agility. Potential impact: wolf predation could help control populations of these herbivores, preventing overgrazing. Wolves may also alter the behavior of kudu and eland, leading to increased vigilance and movement patterns, which can have cascading effects on vegetation and ecosystem dynamics. Kudu and eland have evolved anti-predator behaviors such as acute hearing, speed, and the ability to navigate dense woodland, which may give them an edge in avoiding wolf packs. Feral dogs. Feral dogs are less organized hunters compared to wolves, but can still pose a significant threat to young or weakened animals. Large, healthy kudu and eland would likely be less vulnerable to dog predation. Feral dogs often scavenge rather than actively hunt. However, in areas with high feral dog populations, they might harass kudu and eland or compete with predators like wolves and jackals for carcasses. Feral dogs could become a nuisance species, disrupting the balance of rewilding efforts. Dhole, Asiatic wild dog. Dholes hunt in packs and are highly effective hunters, capable of taking down prey much larger than themselves. They would pose a moderate predation risk to kudu and eland, particularly young or solitary individuals. Dhole packs could target kudu and eland as part of their diet, but their populations are typically low and localized, limiting widespread predation pressure. Kudu and eland would need access to dense woodland or rocky terrain to evade these highly agile predators. Golden jackals are small predators and scavengers. They would not pose a significant threat to adult kudu or eland, but might prey on calves or scavenge carcasses. Jackals would fill a secondary scavenger role, cleaning up carcasses left by larger predators. Their predation on smaller herbivores, for example deer or saiga calves, might indirectly reduce competition for kudu and eland. Brown bears. Brown bears are omnivores and opportunistic predators. While they might scavenge carcasses or target young or weak kudu and eland, they are unlikely to hunt healthy adults. Brown bears could compete with other predators, for example wolves or leopards, for carcasses. Their presence might indirectly affect kudu and eland by altering predator-prey dynamics or causing avoidance of areas frequented by bears. The Eurasian lynx is a solitary ambush predator, typically targeting smaller prey like roe deer or chamois. While unlikely to attack adult kudu or eland, they could prey on calves if they are left unguarded. Lynx predation would have minimal impact on kudu and eland populations due to the lynx's preference for smaller prey. Kudu and eland, as large herbivores, might even benefit indirectly if lynx reduce the populations of smaller herbivores competing for the same food resources. Persian leopards. Persian leopards are powerful ambush predators capable of preying on medium to large herbivores, They could pose a serious threat to calves and subadults and might occasionally target adult kudu or eland, especially in rocky terrain where leopards excel. Leopard predation could help regulate kudu and eland populations but would likely be limited due to the leopard's solitary nature. Predation pressure from leopards could push kudu and eland to avoid certain areas, influencing habitat use and ecosystem structure. If tigers will reintroduce to Central Asia or the Caucasus Mountains, they will be apex predators capable of hunting large herbivores like kudu and eland. In areas with dense cover, tigers would be a significant threat to these species. Tiger predation could help maintain healthy populations of kudu and eland by culling weak or sick individuals. The presence of tigers might also restrict the movement of kudu and eland, leading to habitat partitioning and localized grazing impacts. Asiatic lions, if reintroduced, would pose a considerable threat to kudu and eland, as they are pack hunters capable of taking down large prey. Their predation strategies resemble those of African lions. Lions could regulate herbivore populations and prevent overgrazing in rewilded ecosystems. Kudu and eland would need to rely on their speed, vigilance, and habitat selection to avoid predation. Snow leopards typically inhabit high-altitude areas and prey on medium-sized species like blue sheep and ibex. They would not naturally overlap much with kudu or eland habitats. In rare cases where habitats overlap, snow leopards might target young kudu or eland, but would generally pose minimal risk to these species. Rewilding greater kudu and common eland into Eurasia offers a promising opportunity to restore the ecological role once held by the extinct Pleistocene spiral-horned antelope. These herbivores can coexist with native and reintroduced species such as deer, wild boar, horses, bison and predators like wolves, dholes and leopards, while contributing to ecosystem balance and biodiversity. Their interactions with predators like wolves and leopards will regulate populations, prevent overgrazing and promote healthy vegetation dynamics. Apex predators such as tigers and lions, if reintroduced, would play a critical role in maintaining ecosystem stability while benefiting scavengers like jackals and bears through carcass availability. Challenges include balancing predator densities, managing human-wildlife conflict, and ensuring sufficient habitat and resources. By carefully designing rewilding strategies, this initiative could help revitalize ecosystems across Central Asia, the Caucasus, and parts of Europe, showcasing the power of rewilding in preserving Earth's natural heritage. Rewilding greater kudu and common eland is more than just ecological restoration. It's a step toward healing Earth's landscapes and reconnecting with our planet's rich natural history. Let us envision a future where these majestic species roam Eurasian wilderness once again, bringing life and balance to ecosystems that have long awaited their return. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content on rewilding and conservation efforts. Together we can make a difference.